elevated Bay class expectations. Yeah. Shh, it's happening.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. Thanks so much for joining us here today. And today is a day about Path of Exile. You're going to find out a lot of awesome stuff we've been working on. Before we get started though, I wanted to mention that there are Twitch drops that you can win. Below the live stream, there are some instructions for signing up and linking your Twitch account with your Path of Exile account, and if you do that, you'll be eligible to receive the drops. So today's live stream has got 4 sections. They say you should start your show with a bang, so we're going to start right off with Path of Exile 2. After that, we're going to show you Path of Exile Ultimatum. This is an expansion for regular Path of Exile that's coming out literally next week. After that, we're going to be joined by Ziggy D, who's going to host a Q&A where he asks me a whole bunch of questions from Twitch chat. So if you have any questions about the various reveals, make sure to keep them for the Q&A. Then there's going to be a live episode of the Bay Class podcast where Take Cat and his crew of Path of Exile veterans are going to discuss all of the things we've announced today. They'll be joined by Rory Rackham, who's the Grinding Gear Games developer who was in charge of the development of the Ultimatum League. All right, let's get started. You're probably wondering, why has it been so long since we last showed you any Path of Exile 2 footage?
We have been
And honestly,
wondering.
this is because the project is so important to us that we are definitely taking our time to make sure that we make the best possible action RPG. Let's watch a new trailer.
Shh, quiet in the chat.
Among ancient ruins, evil grows once more. The seed of corruption advances, spreading dread and despair.
The fuck is this?
We
Oh my
must
god.
give chase. These sands hide countless secrets. 3,000 years of dormant malevolence.
Bro. It's
We
Katara
must
2.0.
hunt down the seed and put
Oh
an
my god, I
end to
love
this
these
madness.
sets.
If Rayclast is to survive,
I should be listening to the voiceover thing. Look at these bosses. Look at his arms. I want to see it. Wait, I didn't even notice that, Skelly. Fuck. I want to watch it again. Show
That
me
trailer
again.
really shows what we have achieved with Path of Exile 2. I am so proud of the efforts of the entire team in putting that together. At ExileCon, we announced that Path of Exile 2 is a true sequel to Path of Exile. So that means a new 7-act campaign, it means a whole new skill gem system, new
Ah!
items, new monsters, character classes, all the Ascendancy classes are completely new, it's got cutting-edge next-generation graphics as you just saw. Basically, it's everything you would expect from a sequel to Path of Exile. But we're not just throwing away our legacy,
Nice, man.
we're embracing it. Both campaigns will be fully playable from within the same game plan. You'll be able to play through the original Path of Exile storyline or the new Path of Exile 2 campaign on the way to the shared
I remember
endgame.
that one.
All of your old characters will still be playable, and of course, any microtransaction purchases you've made in Path of Exile will carry on to the sequel. At ExileCon, we introduced the dark forests of the island of Ogham, where you start your journey. Today, we're proud to showcase Path of Exile 2's second act, which takes place in the Vastiri Desert. Welcome to Path of Exile 2's second act. As you saw in the trailer, Act 2 is centered around a caravan of Maraketh called the Ardura who live in the Vastiri Desert. You're chasing another caravan from an opposing tribe called the Faradun. There's a set of large ancient gates blocking the progress of
know,
the
it's
caravan
so
through a desert
bright.
pass, so you're being sent through the Traitor's Passage to unlock them.
We shall wait here, Dingak. But the military carts have departed for the gates. Make haste.
Path of Exile 2 is a lot more than just new acts. We want combat to
check
feel
out that
both brutal
waypoint.
and responsive, even at low levels. We're ensuring that each weapon type has unique and different mechanics. Each weapon class feels different to play, and today we're going to start by demonstrating the new Spear weapon class. Spears are a weapon class favoring mobility with both melee and ranged attack options. To that end, each spear will grant you at least one mobility skill. In this case, the spear comes with both an engage and disengage skill. When you engage, it increases your melee damage for a short time, and that really encourages you to be mobile during combat. One of the skills we're using here is called Whirling Slash. When you use Whirling Slash, it creates a sandstorm that grows in size each time you use the skill. When you leave the sandstorm, it explodes, dealing damage to nearby monsters. A great way to do that is to use the Disengage skill, which makes you fly backwards and throw projectiles.
I kind of love that, but I wonder what it's going to really feel like to play. You didn't pick up the rep! You didn't pick up the rep!
In PoE 2, each area's
wisdom
mini-boss
scrap.
is a much more substantial fight with interesting mechanics. You'll be able to find at least one mini-boss in each area of the game. One thing I love about this boss in particular is that it destroys the ceiling when it slams the ground, letting in more light. Clever players will notice that if they're standing in the light, then they're not going to have any rocks falling on their head.
Okay,
The
that's
Rapid
cool,
Assault
using
skill that we're
environment.
using against this boss does 3 rapid stabs, followed by a 4th stab that deals more damage and can stun, if you're willing to commit to a long attack time. While developing the skills for Path of Exile 2, we were really thinking a lot about designing skills that could be cancelled early to dodge, or you can commit to the full attack for maximum damage.
Man, I want to play, I don't want to play, I don't want to play, I don't want to play. Did he just leave a unique?
Can't disrupt the rhythm of combat.
One of the skills we're using here is called Spear Field, which creates an area of spears coming out of the ground that impale monsters who walk into them, causing them to bleed. As the monsters move towards you, they take damage, so using your mobility skills as a way to move away from them is a great strategy here. In Path of Exile 2, we've invested a lot in our animation system. I'm sure you're noticing the animations are looking a lot better than they did in PoE 1, but there's also a lot of subtle detail, like characters having different run animations depending on how fast they're moving. When we use a Quicksilver Flask here, you can see the character changes to a sprinting animation.
Okay, so Flask meta's still going. Mate, the graphics just look incredible. I mean, yeah, of course, epic fail train, but also unrelatable.
Now that we've arrived at the Ancient Gates, we're going to show you another of the new weapon classes in Path of Exile 2, Crossbows. Crossbows are
just see that?
special in that they
Frame
grant attack
dropping?
skills implicitly. This particular crossbow
Oh,
grants
stuttering,
Power Shot,
whatever.
which is a high damage single target attack. In order to modify what Power Shot does, you're going to need to equip Bolt skill gems, which change the type of bolts that are loaded into the crossbow. Here we've got 3 different bolt skills that the character can switch between depending on the situation.
Show us the skill gems. Show us the skill
Incendiary bolts.
gems.
Permafrost bolts can be used to disrupt packs of enemies to prevent them from closing in on your position. You can then follow
Whoa.
up with armor-piercing bolts to do plenty of damage.
Outsider, join me in battle!
In this area, we're helping Asala, leader of the Ardura, to open the ancient gates and let the caravan through.
Armor-piercing bolt.
Because the bolt types are the skill gems, support gems that are added to them will modify whatever the skill is that you're using. Here we're going to add multiple projectiles to our incendiary bolt.
Permafrost bolts. Continue the assault. Incendiary bolts. Slay them all! Permafrost bolts. Armor-piercing bolts.
mean that anyone shooting regular arrow skills would be change them to being arrows or something?
In Path of Exile 2, we're doing a lot more interesting
the
things
voice
with
line.
monster packs. Here you can see some of the monsters patrolling around.
That's the patrolling shit from Heist. Dude, you can shoot the rocks. Does that mean we can shoot doors?
Incendiary bolts.
I kind of love what the rocks are doing in this. And the fire's different. Is the fire different? The fire graphic looks different.
Permafrost bolts. Armor piercing bolts.
Oh my god. I love this skill that stops them in place. Oh, that's really cool.
Armor piercing bolts.
Now we're coming to another example of a Path of Exile 2 mini-boss, Li'im the Impaler.
Armor piercing bolts.
Whoa. No gas. How come when you're attacking Lim the Impaler you can't see their
Armor
mods?
piercing bolts.
The boss has dropped another type of crossbow, a siege crossbow. This crossbow grants the siege cascade skill. The skill is also modified depending on what type of bolts you're using.
Okay.
Permafrost bolts. Incendiary bolts.
So now the siege thing is making it go like that.
Onwards, give these demons no quarter. Faradun has fallen to corruption, and their eyes gleam with light. Armor piercing
I
bolts.
wonder if it did have a slower attack speed. I thought he swapped them out. They picked it up, put it in the inventory, and then swapped them out.
We tried to add a lot more little details to combat in Path of Exile 2. You might notice that the monsters who die while burning have charred corpses. We really want to make sure that there's a feeling that as you leave the battlefield, there's clear evidence of what combat took place there.
Oh, I want that.
Permafrost bolts. Armor piercing bolts. Permafrost bolts.
Oh god, I'm so hot.
Incendiary bolts. Armor piercing bolts.
Oh my god, look at them! They swung out of underneath the map. That's so cool.
Incendiary bolts. Armor piercing bolts. Incendiary bolts. Armor piercing bolts. Permafrost bolts.
Yeah, it is actually gonna get annoying. I mean, I'm kind of annoyed by it already. So many bolts. Bolts.
Incendiary bolts.
Okay, we need that meme of that chick that's like the both chick, but she has to say bolts.
Incendiary bolts.
Someone can post it on PV Reddit.
Permafrost bolts.
Alright, how did I say it work?
Incendiary bolts. Armor piercing bolts.
Thanks for the follow, Sir Husband.
This is the Perennial King, the leader of the Faradun. His goal here is to prevent you from catching the Caravan at any cost.
Resist lightning.
Piercing bolts.
I see it.
We fight.
people who were responsible for oh yes, desert people, right? Wasn't one of the rogues from the Faraday people?
We will finish this!
With the kidnapped kids?
Make haste! He must not escape!
Forget what her name was. Was it Nanette?
Quickly! He conjures the very sands against us!
Man, I'm great at details.
This madness has gone on long enough. The king is not the man I once knew. And sands swallow me if I do any more to enable him. You plan to continue your pursuit, yes? You will not catch him. Not without me.
We cannot follow through the raging sands. Let us return to the caravan and question this defector.
I like the little UI.
This is the
for
Ardura
choice.
Caravan, your town in Act 2.
My god, the town is gorgeous.
I am Asala, the Sekima of the Ardura. I care not where you came from, nor what caste you might have been there. All that matters is that you have shown yourself capable in battle, Jingak. Remain a friend to the Ardura, and you shall have nothing but respect from us. From what your shade has told us, the situation is dire. This Balbalic will live or die based on her usefulness in pursuit of the seed of corruption. Ask her what questions you will, then we, Ardura, will decide her fate.
A little bit. But I guess we have to show off the new
You
voice
need not
actor.
trust me. You will see the truth of my information soon enough. I ask nothing of you. Only that you do what you know is right.
One of the things we really wanted to do in Act 2 was to use the mobility of the caravan to allow the player to choose how they explore the act. Here you're given 4 options on how to proceed.
There is a tribe of lost men that inhabits the Mastodon Badlands. They worship the bones of those long ago beasts, and that faith has given rise to powerful tasks that can somehow call on storms
Is
and
there a
strike
comment in chat
enemies
that
with
said
lightning.
10 FPS
The
and I
king
feel
wishes to steal these objects of worship and use their lightning in war.
what a
Do
call.
what you must.
God, I hope
The
they're
events demand you tread upon a valley of the dead. Do not do so flagrantly. Keep your presence light. Cleanse what corruption you can. And we shall skirmish with the
kind of bothered
Faradun
by
to
all the
protect your
resident sleepers
flank.
in
Once you've
chat.
picked your destination, the caravan will travel to that area and come to a stop so that you can disembark and go on your quest.
Look at the little quest icon above them. It's not like an exclamation mark. It's
Because we just got the Storm Spear skill as a quest reward, now would be a great time to switch back to spears and use some ranged abilities. Storm Spear fires a lightning projectile which splits on contact. The other skill we're using here is called Blazing Lance. Blazing Lance creates a trail of fire from the ground, dealing damage over time. However, if you're willing to stand in place for long enough, you can throw a second spear that will fan the flames for much more damage.
Is that the evolution of the flame roll? Kind of love it though. It's like cutting.
We've just found a unique spear. It's called Devata's Wind. This spear has an extra modifier that synergizes really well with Storm Spear. When you disengage, you get 2 additional projectiles on your projectile skills.
these guys. There's way more stuff.
The wild pipe is.
I really enjoy this spear play. Except, is that realistic? Would you need to stab someone multiple times really quickly with a spear to kill them? Or just like, because these are monsters from a magical land? Yeah, it's a parallel act. I just let you cry. Ooh, what's this? So there's two bosses. You're in the arena, it's like up and it doesn't go away, so you know exactly where you're at without having to mouse over them all the time. But is that for every boss fight or specifically for one where you're fighting more than one? Now I can't remember what happened with the last one. It's still there for Mastodon. I really hope we do it for everyone.
If you have any questions about what you just